How's it going, guys? Welcome back to TheBlueShifting and welcome to the House of Fata Morgana. I hope I said that completely right. I just kind of had to glance at it. Thank you for joining me here today. This is the first episode. That usually means this is the most likely one that somebody's going to come to this for the first time on this channel. So if this is your first time, welcome. I do content covering visual novels. Specifically, I share my experience playing them. Ideally, this is something that you would have already played, and then we could kind of share the experience together. However, you can also take this opportunity to see for yourself if you really would be interested in playing this game, And if that's the case, maybe watch the first couple episodes just to get a feel for it, and then I'd highly recommend getting it yourself. I don't really promote, per se, like, oh, go buy this or go buy that. Like, it's all up to you, but I feel that the experience of a visual novel is spoiled if you just simply explore it with me. It should be a personal experience, and then we can compare notes as we go. But however you digest your media is up to you. All I want to say is welcome. Now, this is the start of some kind of psychedelic mystery. I believe there are some almost sci-fi elements to it, multidimensional and stuff. But like the thing is, I've been avoiding spoilers, so I don't really know a whole lot. Going into this blind, but you can't help but read a bit of the bio, and so all I know for sure is that this is highly recommended. A lot of you guys messaged me saying that this is one you'd highly recommend. It's got a pretty good rating from the places I can see the ratings, and ultimately, just the concept was intriguing to me. If I'm correct, it looks like there isn't any voice acting per se, which means you get a delicious taste of my terrible voice acting. But hopefully, that's more entertaining than anything else. But yeah, so I think we're just going to jump in and we're going to experience this together. Yeah, I don't know about like the details. If there's somebody who wants to clarify, like when this came out or like what the version 1.3 really means, like I'd be curious. But I also, like I said, I'm avoiding all the spoilers I can. So, but thank you so much to those of you who created this. Thank you so much, especially to the translators who've made it so that it's available in a way that I can digest. We really appreciate your work, whoever you are. And hopefully you guys enjoy this. So let's jump in and see what happens. Yeah, I highly recommended at the beginning the use of headphones because apparently the music and the sound effects are like really, really well crafted. So if there's anything in the sound you want to change, let me know. But it's already got a good start. The quality of the sound was actually really good, and it's good that I actually have new and better headphones too. So. Alright. There is a house. Oh, if it's going for creepy atmosphere, we're hitting that easy. That sits beyond a dark, dense woods. So in fact, it's like in the woods there's a house. Like the world fading into a view after a dream. That old mansion appears before you. Okay. Ooh, I wonder how much choice I'm going to actually have in this without realizing it. It is beautiful, by the way. You instinctively accept as truth the events unfolding before you. The house lives in perpetuity, an amalgam of a myriad fates and generations. Interesting. No one knows who first said. That the mansion was cursed. Well, sounds like it. If it's like a myriad of time, it's a good grief. It'd be a nexus. Ooh, it's really going for the spectacle here. Now, sometimes in intros I just let them play and don't say anything, but in other intros I do talk, and I think I want to talk during this one because it's more about the music. But it's hauntingly beautiful. I'm already at this like stage where I feel like I need to whisper. And maybe it's because like the singer has this like whispering quality to her. Interesting. There's a lot of layers to that music right now. The house in Fata Morgana. Ooh. Alright, I'm already a fan of this. I'm digging it. This is interesting. What on earth is this going to be about? Our Father. Is this the beginning of the prayer? Yeah. Oh, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Have mercy on me, O Father. And cast their souls into eternal damnation. Ooh, that's a bit of a twist. I almost feel like I should be playing this with the lights off. I was looking down upon a corpse. Wow. Hey, talk about hard-hitting intros. Dang. My own corpse. Oh, that's a bit awkward. I was afflicted with great despair at the sight of it being dragged into the place of my crucifixion. My soul crumbled, and I was wholly extinguished. Indeed, I did once lose everything. However, as I faded into darkness everlasting, I heard a voice calling out to me, and so I vowed once more that no matter how long it may take, how great the obstacles that stand in my way, or what form you may assume, I shall come back for you, that I must return to that house. So I ask of you, please wait until this mutilated body arrives there once more. Fetch. Oh my gosh, what the heck? Your consciousness, wavering like a ship at sea, was slowly drawn back to the surface. With each new breath, feeling gradually return to your fingers. Master, you could hear the pattering of rain from somewhere. Master? And the sound of a crackling fire. Wake up, Master. Creak, creak, creak. Wake up. Oh, that sounds terrible. Oh gosh. When you came to, you were rocking back and forth in a rocking chair. The room was dimly lit. Oh, okay, that's supposed to be a fire? It sounds like someone's breaking bones. It's horrible. Aside from the flickering of the fireplace, there was no illumination. No light shone through the closed windows. There was only the pitter-patter of rain on the glass. It was as though the whole mansion had been enveloped in darkness. Oh, splendid. You have finally awoken. Someone called out to you. I don't know why I went feminine for that voice. We'll see if I was right. It's a 50-50. Yes. You were about to search the room, but that turned out to be unnecessary. The source of the voice was crouching beside the chair, looking up at you with emerald eyes. Ah, I was lucky. She's very vampire-like. Good morning, Master. Good morning. Oh, so I get a pick. Interesting. So, this has come very, very heavily suggested, but the playstyle is much more simplistic than I thought. As a matter of fact, it's very reminiscent of one I did a while back called... Oh, shoot. Oh, no. I'm going to hate myself for forgetting it. It's about the oceans and the girls and the separation in the mind. It was really, really good, especially at the end. Like, Seabed, that's what it was, Seabed. Seabed is a newer visual novel, but it's very much in the same style. So that'll be interesting. What's the matter? Are you still waking up? You seem rather drowsy. Come now, you must gather yourself. Though I am glad to hear your voice. I have simply been waiting so long for this moment. Tending the mansion all by my lonesome, ensuring it was ready for your return, whenever that time may be. When I caught sight of you through the window, my heart fluttered. The time had finally arrived. You were perplexed. This woman, who looked like a maid, seemed to know you, but you have no memory of her. What kind of herbal tea would you like to start your day with? I have some wonderful... Oh, Chamomile leaves, if you would like. Or perhaps your tastes have changed since we last met. Tell me, master, what would you like? I beg your pardon. I allowed myself to get too excited. But I hope you will be sympathetic, master. I am just utterly elated that I could see you again. The woman appeared to be genuinely delighted that you have awoken, but she seemed to lack the energy typical of her age. Or perhaps life was a more appropriate word than energy. Yeah, she's like a vampire or something. But the gloom extended beyond the maid. It seemed to encompass the entire mansion. The plaster walls illuminated by the fireplace and the rose engravings and the ebony pillars felt vaguely familiar. But a crushing sense of claustrophobia overpowered that familiarity. It seemed as though the house wasn't interested in accepting you just yet. Oh my, you do not know who I am? Do you know who you are either? That's quite the predicament. If you cannot remember who you are, then who am I to serve? The woman's face was pale, almost as though a faint chill ran down your spine. You are the master of this house, though it would seem you have no memories of such. Quite the dilemma. If you know not who you are, then you are no different than a stranger to me, no? Indeed, you have returned. But from where? That I cannot say. Then how about this? I am a servant of the mansion. As such, I am familiar with the many incidents that have taken place here. I shall show you the history of this house, master. That will surely allow you to recall who you are. The freshly awakened gears in your head begin to turn as you mull things over. The maid had called you the master of this house, but without a single mirror in the room, you had no way of seeing what you looked like. Unable to decide, you reflexively nodded. Let us be off, then. Fear not. I merely entreat you not to let go of my hand. You should hold it tightly. You need not worry about being washed away by the waves of history. Okay, well, I don't know much more to say about this. Like once again, it's really done a good job establishing tone. It's done a good job establishing a feel, a presence of just the weight of this story already. It's fascinating. I feel like we're dealing in the realm of immortals kind of idea. Like I've ashamedly, I've always been a kind of fan of the dark what do you call it? Underground arcana genre. Dresden Files is more of an upbeat version of that, but the idea of vampires and werewolves and that kind of thing, I've always liked that. I love the Masquerade 2. I'm super stoked that's coming out because I loved the first Masquerade game. I've even considered the LARP game. I've never found a group that I want to do it with, especially because I don't think I could ever just jump in. I'd want at least know one person who was involved in it, but it's definitely something I'd be kind of interested in. All for the sake of exploring another world. So I'm getting a very similar vibe here, so I'm loving it, but I'm really apprehensive of what to expect. No matter what happens, you mustn't let go of my hand. Okay, don't let go of hand or history might eat us. That sounds helpful. Your hand in hers, you follow the maid's lead through the hall. I am definitely going to have to tune down the... For you, it's probably fine, because I adjust audio, but for me right now, these footsteps are clack, clack, clack in my ear. It's good. I want to experience this. I'll probably keep the settings where they are for the future, but just know you're getting a muffled experience, because I don't want you to struggle to hear what I'm trying to say. The air within the mansion was oppressive, as though a black miasma hovered within. Miasma. Every time I hear miasma, I think something terrible. The house is bleak and barren, hardly a trace of color to be found. You came across an open window. Beyond it lay nothing but darkness. Neither sunlight nor moonlight could be seen. There were no chirping birds, no rustling grass, no signs of life at all. Everything that would normally give color to the world had vanished entirely. The only other presence was that of the maid. Following her lead, you proceeded through the mansion. After some time, you arrived at a double doors, the glass within shattered. The door, once pure white, had long since faded into a dull gray. It appeared to lead to the back garden. You could hear children laughing on the other side. Though this is in the state you now see it, a beautiful, beautiful garden once lay beyond those doors. The owner of the time enjoyed gathering rare species of roses from all across the world. At its grandest, it seemed every flower in the constant competition with the most majestic bloom. Would you like to see this wonderful era of splendor and prosperity? I very much hope that it's to your liking, master. Okay. The maid opened the doors to the back garden, and suddenly a gust of wind brushed across your face, forcing you to close your eyes as you followed the maid out the doors. When you next opened your eyes, the world was no longer blackened in shadows. So, this house literally opens doors through time. That could be very interesting. The first door. Oh, this seems lovely so far. it's like not ominous in any way. 1603. Ah, that's the year it's probably taking place in. So, early Victorian. Move the cursor to the bottom right corner of the screen to display the in-game menu. You can save and load your progress and change the game settings there. Which corner though? Like right here? Oh, there it is. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What the? Oh, okay. I wasn't reading it at first. It was like, what the fetch? Yeah, so I'll need that later. Okay. Yes. Alright, that's weird. Okay. The mansion had an alluring air of beauty about it in that era. It was almost like something out of a fairy tale. This period of history could perhaps be described as a symphony of destruction, as cumbersome principles of old came crashing down. Freedom from the day-to-day oppression of these antiquated precepts, the people seemed to hark back to the more poetic, expressive ways of old. Like Rome? Oh. They took these newly blossoming emotions in hand, and with them they were literature, painted portraits, composed theater, and found love. Even the church, which had maintained authority throughout the Middle Ages, embraced the changing times, adopting the culture's flowering sense of its aesthetic. War would break out not 20 years from then, plucking the ripened era from the tree of history, but that is of no concern to us now. At the time, it was still what people referred to as the Golden Age, a period of furor for all those who were there. The singing's like lively and creepy. Now let us take a slight detour. No, we will not be changing locations. This is a tale about the mansion from beginning to end. We will, however, be moving through time. Say, about 8 years into the past. A very wealthy family lived in the house then. The mother and father, brother and sister, had all distinctive, beautiful flaxen hair. I was always enamored by their hair. By contrast, mine is the color of a wet crow. See, there I am, standing around, looking rather like a fool. I was happy back then. And what reason did I have not to be, afforded the opportunity to attend such a beautiful home? So I poured my heart into serving that family. Listen closely, if you would. That soft, fleeting sound that could only be a young girl singing. Can you hear it? I couldn't miss it. Oh. You're, slightly terrifying. La la la, la la la. The girl you see cheerfully picking crimson roses is singing like a songbird we call Nellie. Though young, she sang with elegance. Nellie was deeply fond of the house garden. She would often spend her afternoons there. Gorgeous roses gathered from all across the world bloomed in the garden. They were given the utmost care and even had their thorns removed. Wow, that must have taken a lot of work. So young Nellie would not hurt herself, naturally. The light brown-haired girl carefully plucked petals from roses, gathering them up as she sang. Her voice was like music played by fairies. Nay, the sight of her was like an angel descended from heaven. Oh dear, please don't look at me like that. I admit I was being rather fanciful. But what is a woman if not fanciful? Okay, he quickly stepped into creepy. Little bird, sing night and day. I can't sing, so hold on to that. For your little birdie heart, sing your woes away. Pretty flowers all around, little birds. And even when the sun comes up, oh dear smell, I've forgotten what comes next. Are you listening? Wow, she looks like she just does not care. She's like, I could die and I'd probably be happier. Nellie was, a matter of fact, not only a visitor to the rose garden that day, she always came with her older brother, Mel. Oh. Well, he has a very feminine face. The young siblings were inseparable. Mel adored his little sister, who who in turn pined for his attention. The sight of the two innocent children cuddling together, not yet shackled by the fear of the future, was truly heartwarming. That day, Mel was sitting in the shade of a tree reading a book. As I am sure you are aware, in their time, books could not yet be mass-produced. What he was reading had been copied by a scribe. I presume he'd borrowed it from the church. The book, having passed through many hands over the years, was visibly worn, but I suppose that just speaks of its importance. It was, in fact, a Latin grammar textbook he was reading. Mel was a clever boy. He had attended church from a very young age, where a priest would instruct him in Latin grammar. So at this time, I believe he was capable of reading even advanced texts. "Oh, dearest Mel, please." The young girl approached her brother, who was consumed by the text. In her hand, she carried a large pile of rose petals. Though his sister's shadow overlapped with the trees, the boy still did not notice. So Nellie puffed her cheeks, thrust out her slender arms, and let the petals fall. "Oh! Look at your head, it's covered in roses, Mel." "Oh, Nellie, you got petals on the book. This isn't mine, I can't afford to let you get it dirty." "It's your fault, dearest Mel. I tried to get your attention. And besides, flowers won't get a book dirty." "I must raise the white flag. When did my little lady find herself such a sharp wit?" "Well, I waited for you, dearest Mel. I waited and I waited, and you didn't so much as glance at me. I'm an adult by the time you'll be done reading that book." "Wow, that's soon." "Not soon. Mother says girls grow up fast." She might be right. "In that case, we should do something together before you're all grown up. Surely you won't play with me any longer when you become an adult." That's not true. I'll still play with you even when I'm grown up." "But grown-ups don't play, Nellie." Fine. Then I'll stay a child forever then." "Didn't you just say you were about to grow up?" You're so mean, Mel." "I'm sorry. Please don't pout, my little lady." "How about this? To make it up to you, I'll play whatever you want today." "Really? Do you mean it? I want to play make-believe." "Make-believe?" "Make-believe! I want to be a princess taken captive by an evil kingdom, and you, dearest Mel, will be my valiant knight. And then you turn into a prince when you rescue me." "A knight can become a prince? Impressive." "They can! Knights and princesses both have to be charming, so of course they can. Which is why it must be you, dear Mel." I think she has a brother complex. "No one else can be my prince, or my knight." While he may appear outwardly embarrassed as his rose-cheeked princess proclaimed prattlingly, I am certain he was smiling on the inside. After a few moments, he meekly knelt, bringing himself to eye level with Nellie and gently stroking her soft hair. "All right, then. You're my princess, Nellie. It's not just anyone's princess, dearest Mel, but yours alone. So, don't be anyone else's prince but mine, okay?" "Nellie. Jeez, my princess is quite the fawner." "Is that bad? Does that make you dislike me?" "Not at all. I'm proud to have you as my sister, Nellie. You mean more to me than anything in the world, my dear princess." "I love you, dearest Mel." That laugh was terrible. "You'll always be my prince, forever and ever." Her mood quite improved. Nellie began humming the melody of the song she'd forgotten the lyric to. Holding the skirt of her dress from her body, the young girl pranced around the rose garden. Mel, his eyes on her back, gave a little shrug. "Oh, Nellie, come crying to me if you trip running like that." But Mel was not entirely disapproving of his sister's excitement. He carefully brushed aside the petals of his book and set it in the shade of the tree, and began chasing after Nellie. They were picturesque siblings, brimming with hope. And at this time in their lives, there was nothing to jeopardize that hope. Oh, how times will change, I'm sure. Would it not be wonderful if children could stay children forever, Master? Oh, this is her talking. Gosh darn, I should be doing her voice. As I see it, though, the pleasant, gentle times of our lives have value because they come to an end. Wouldn't you agree? Time continues to flow, impartial and without exception. And as such, everyone's childhood comes to an end. Be that as it may, does time also flow at the same speed for each individual? Now, let us take a trip down the river of time. I would be very much delighted if we could remain at this point in time, but unfortunately we cannot. Please do not let go of my hand, master. What is this? This is just... I don't even know what to make of this story already. Like, or I'm bamboozled. I'm befuddled. It definitely feels old, too. Like, I feel like this must have been published a while ago. Maybe that's just the sense of the atmosphere. Oh, hello, Mel. Wow. I'll be on my way, then. Oh, you usually stay for longer. Yes, I have an errand to run today. Thank you for your time, as always. Would you like the book back sometime next week? Next week, or the week after. Hold on to it as long as you'd like. But surely there are others who want to use it. Not as sharp as you, Mel. Put yourself in my shoes, you'll understand. I want to give you an advantage you can get. Oh, do you not believe me? No, I do. I believe you, Father. And I mean to do whatever I can to not disappoint you. That's the spirit. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask. I'm proud of you as my pupil. Ah, yes, and Mel, do consider what we were talking about. Going to university? Indeed. If you do, I can introduce you to some accomplished instructors. There's very little left for me to teach you, and I believe you would make a fine priest. It is an honorable thing, Mel, to devote yourself to the service of our Lord. I'll give it some thought. If you'll excuse me then, I'll see you again. Our doors are always open. Farewell. He doesn't want to be a priest, but he wants to go to school, probably. Or at least likes learning. Whether it's in the service of God or the service of the church, it is an honorable profession. But theology, I wouldn't mind attending university, but I'm not sure. I'd kind of like to do something different. Something more befitting of the times? Science! As for what, though? I'm stumped. But I need to make up my mind soon. If I drag my feet too long, even Father is likely to grow impatient. Mercy me. Young sire, blessed young sire, alms for the poor. Ah, this beggar. If I'm not mistaken, he's been outside the church since last week. Alms. The way he shakes his head, I can get a glimpse of his forehead under his hood. He's completely bald. Buy yourself some bread with this. Ah, thank you. Thank you very much. May the Lord bless your soul. Thanks. The Lord. Oh no. Nellie's gonna be cross if I don't hurry home. Curses. It looks like it's going to rain. Master? Master? Oh, thank goodness. You appear to have a firm grasp on your consciousness. I was afraid you would accidentally let go of my hand. Now, Master, this is the period of time I truly wish to show you. The boy reading the rose garden was now a fine young man. Nonetheless, he still bore the same gentle eyes as before, and he would from time to time show remnants of that innocent young boy. He was, in his own mind, still making the transition into adulthood, I suspect. Mel frequently visited the church, on Sundays to participate in Mass, of course, but more often to be tutored by the priest. In addition, he also attended a private school run by an eminent marquis, though it was not a school where students had desks and sat in rows. They studied all the marquis's estates. Secondary and higher education was not the same as it is today, and Mel was considering university. The priest wanted to recruit him to the church, but Mel was having difficulty deciding what he wanted to do. That seemed to have... that he had such a choice is envious, is it not? It kind of is. Like, nowadays, we really take for granted the fact that we can kind of choose our path. Good afternoon. I'm here to pick up my order. Is it ready? Aye, ready and waiting, young Master Rhodes. Oh, don't call me young master, please. I beg your pardon. Can it seem to get my head out of the past? Your order's right here, sir. Mel stopped at the jewelry store in the center of town on his way back from the church. The building was both a workshop and storefront, and the nobles of the area were deeply fond of the master's wares. He was so skillful, even the royal family had commissioned work from him. As a matter of fact, the wood signal out of the door was engraved as a replica of a piece of his jewelry said to be on his display in the palace. As artistry flowed through this golden age, the number of shops selling luxurious items such as jewelry rose in kind. However, the clientele of these shops had composed a very narrow range of people. May I have a look? Of course, of course. Good. Came out just as I hoped. Splendid work. Can't afford to disappoint a loyal customer like yourself. An admirable work ethic. I'm sure she'll love it. Such a kind lad, young master. My boy back home could do well to learn a thing or two from ya. Every man ought to show the woman some cordiality. Coming home to a cold fireplace is a sad thing indeed. Ha! Ha ha ha! I knew he was gonna laugh. Again, please don't call me young master. My apologies. I'll take this and be on my way then. Good day. If you find yourself in need of anything else, just let me know. I can make you any jewelry you ask for. Come to me or your sweetheart day'll surely be made. And I guarantee the two of you will have all sorts of fun if you give it to her. Kind of weird. But please, I don't have a sweetheart. Huh? Well, that's surprising. I'm sure many girls are vying for your hand too, young Mr. Rhodes. A fine family, good looks, charming. I think he's interested. And your future's all but... I'll be on my way then. I'm in a bit of a hurry. Good day. Come back anytime. Goodness. Maybe I'll say I want to study abroad or something. Patient as my father may be, that would certainly anger him. I can hear it now. You're wasting your God-given talents, boy. I could renounce my name and rank, go somewhere far away. That sounds like the kind of plan Nellie would come up with. Interesting. Back to the garden. As he drew closer to the mansion, the rich fragrance of roses grew more prominent. Over time, this distinctive scent had led visitors to refer to the house as Rose Manor. It was also probably a play on the flaxen-haired family's last name, Rhodes, which you heard the owner of the jewelry store say just a moment earlier. The mansion looked quite different than it does now, no? No thickets of ivory covering the walls, no rotten, broken doors to be found. I wonder what the Rhodes family would think if they saw the house in its present, tragic condition. The sight of their abandonment blooming roses, a veritable symbol of prosperity, long since withered and turned into soil. My apologies, I get a little sentimental there. Let us forget for a moment about our own time. I suppose I stayed out a little too long. Oh well, sun's shining high in the sky, I'm sure it's... Oh, fetch! Oh, jeez! Ugh. Dearest Mel, what took you so long? Where have you been? I've been waiting forever! Jeez, this girl. I wonder, can I make that disappear? Nellie, you're not in the house. Nope, you were taking so long I decided to wait by the gate. But you didn't even notice me, at all. Is that why you treat a lady? Is that any studying in your head got your head stuck up in the clouds? I don't know the lady who tackles people come home routinely. No, it hasn't, really. Also, you're heavy. Could you please get off my back? Heavy? I've been gradually reducing the amount of sweets I eat, and I love sweets to maintain my figure for the new dress, and you call me heavy? I didn't catch that. Were you saying a tongue twister? You're such a dimwit, Mel, jerk, blockhead, weakling! And obnoxious to boot. Whatever happened to the delightful little girl who once was my sister? She'd probably throw a fit if I said that out loud. Should you really be outside, Nellie? You are the star of today's event. It's fine. They can call it a birthday party, but I know it's just for fraternizing. It's obvious what Father's true motives are. He'll be gathering a bunch of boys from the good families to look for someone to marry me off to. I have no interest in that at all. Don't be like that, Nellie. They're all here for you. At least enjoy what you can of the party. Ah, noble life. It must have been weird because they really had so much like luxury and prestige, but then at the same time there's so much like there's so much burden on their back. Like the prosperity of the house would reflect in the community. So while the peasants and the lower class citizens might not feel like they're part of like the family per se, they did have a symbiotic relationship with each other. You know, if the peasants got angry or they left or the economy collapsed, then manor and its people would also feel the effects of that. And then the noblemen, if they were prosperous, then the city tended to prosper too. But the biggest difference is the fact that the nobility, with their rights of nobility and the fact that running an estate offers more excess wealth, they often would spend the money on frivolous things like dresses and parties and mansions and such. But at the same time, it started becoming a political necessity to participate in those things. And so then you get the problem where houses have to actually spend money and even go into debt of themselves just to try and uphold the appearance of wealth, which is a really an interesting relationship that just seems opposing to the whole purpose of what it was supposed to be there for. But, you know, it's human nature. It's what we do. And, like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, being a nobleman would be nice in a lot of ways, but it'd be terrible in others. And probably one of the worst ones is the fact that, like, you literally don't get to choose who you get married to, like, unless you really, really are lucky or you just absolutely destroy your own nobility. It's weird. It's interesting. It's one of those things that's, like, we never really think about. It wasn't until, like, the 1800s when marriage became something you did out of love. Like, it's that recent when that was kind of when that really became a practice. And the common people could kind of marry for love throughout all of time. But once again, they also were limited. Like, you could only marry people in your community, and you needed to get married. So it's just like, you got married, and you hoped you could stand each other kind of a thing. It's so interesting. All of it's so fascinating to imagine nowadays. I guess. And besides, it's not completely terrible. Look at that, dearest Mel. What do you think? A dress? What do I think? About what? About what? Mel! She's kind of cute. I'll give her that. Although she looks like she'd be very kind of tough to deal with. My new dress! It arrived! I'm wearing it! How could you not notice? I didn't notice there was something I hadn't seen before, but you have so many dresses, Nellie. But this is the dress I made just for you, just for today. Look at the colors, they're so pretty. It's the whole work of a renowned dyer. And this belt is just lovely. You see how it comes together to form a butterfly? Oh, I'm just absolutely in love with it. I think I'll be wearing this dress for a while to come. So tell me, what do you think? Does it look good on me? Yeah, it does. It's pretty. In some ways, I guess she's still the delightful little girl. Oh, dearest Mel, I love you. Oh, fetch. Jeez, this scared me. Whoa, don't jump on me like that. Oh my, you dropped something. And what have we here? Wait, no, you can't have that yet. Is it a present? Give it back. I was going to give that to you later. I knew it. It's just for me. It's for me. And what could it be? Hey, don't open it. What's the big deal? I'm going to be mine soon anyway, isn't it? What is it? Like a necklace, I'm guessing? Oh, I love it. A rose necklace. And its design. It's from the jeweler the royal family uses. Oh, my dearest Mel. You had this made just for me. Yeah. Oh, jeez. It defeats the purpose if you open it before the party. Happiness is always better sooner rather than later, Mel. I think I'll put it on right away. There, how does it look? Oh, so it's like a choker kind of necklace. Looks lovely. My prince is still the sweetest in all the land. Don't make such weird noises. That was a weird noise. Oh, well, why not? A prince always knows exactly what his princess wants. And this princess wanted some rose jewelry to go with her new dress. Understand? Jeez, I sure don't have it easy playing your prince, Nelly. It might have been about the time you found a new one. A prince is a prince because you can't find one standing on the street corner. If you want to retire, dearest Mel, you're going to have to wait another 10 years. That's a long time. Or if you find yourself a new princess. I'm not so... You're about as romantic as a rock, dearest Mel. But worry not, your adorable sister will always be your princess. What more could you want? Are you really allowed to be the judge of that? I mean more to you than any other girl in the world, do I not? Then that makes me your perfect princess. Hey, what was the laugh it all be over laugh? You're always telling me I mean more to you than anyone. Yes, you do. More than anyone in the world, my beloved baby sister. I'll take good care of the necklace. Thank you, dearest Mel. Well, if you're happy with it, then so am I. You're very welcome. Now, back to the house with you. Can't have a party without the guest of honor. Do you know if anyone's here yet? Nope. I imagine they'll be here soon, though. Interesting. Were you down at the church again today, Mel? Yeah, there was something I didn't know how to translate, so I went to look it up. Wow, so diligent. I can't say I really like the priest there, personally. Actually, I kind of feel the same way. What? Really? Why? Well, you know, I have my reasons. So you don't always like the priest, huh? Let's skip Mass on Sunday, then. We can go play. No skipping church. As grew the brother, so too did the sister. That day, Nellie would be turning 14, and Mel, 3 years her senior, was 17. You saw it with your own eyes, so you know just how much she has changed. She was always a cute little girl. She grew into an even more beautiful young woman. It's crazy, because back then 14 was when you got married, or at least engaged. Freaking, like, could you imagine? That was the norm. That was normal. And that was normal for a while. Oh, gosh. Like, now it's considered rape just to think about that kind of stuff, and that's good. But man, what a weird time to live, you know? Heck, for nobility, sometimes babies were getting engaged to like adults, like to show up alliances because the alliance was far more important than happiness. Oh, I get depressed just thinking about that. Though she was only 14, she was well on her way to becoming a fine lady. As for her character, well, but a girl like that has her own charms, would you not say? Drifting down the river of time, the two siblings matured into healthy young adults, but the core of their relationship did not change the slightest. Nellie was very much attached to her brother, and as much as Mel complained, he still cared deeply for her sister. Around the time the sun began to set, carriages started lining up outside. The well-dressed aristocrats made their way into the house. In my head, I'm imagining this as like together, like me and the maid, whoever she is, are like walking through and like standing and like we observe those conversations, but then we walk and like we kind of like I could imagine background like almost like a watercolor painting and like swirling and mixing as we travel around, and she kind of narrates and we kind of see like impressions of things that are going on but in a blurred state. I can see it in my head really well, this being like an animation of some kind. It'd be really cool to see. As Nellie had suspected, the majority of them were boys. Yes, I understand. You do not need to say anything more. Rose Manor, right? Okay, we'll go together. Me? Alone? No, please don't make me. The inhabitants of Rose Manor are surely living quite contented lives, and I'm sure they don't remember a thing. Who is that? Okay. Confusion. Confusion. Okay. Well, let's see what else is going on. The room with the fireplace was always kept in a pristine condition so they could entertain guests at any time. Walls colorfully decorated with tapestries, stained glass windows, gave testament to their great fortune. The servant's first assignment every morning was to clean this room. Pitchers, silver plates, and silverware were polished to a shine so they could be proudly put to use at a moment's notice. And for events like the daughter's birthday, the room served as an even more important role. The table's tops were removed, so they had to order new tabletops with designs made especially for this occasion. It's the flaunting of the wealth that really was kind of over the top when it came to nobility back in the day. I wonder if this is going to be taking place in France, because if it is, it talked about the war that would come. I wonder if that's going to be like the revolution, and that could be very bad for these people, because, revolution was not so kind to the nobles in France, and the guillotine, it's crazy, the guillotine is such a staple that we imagine it, but do you know why it was even invented? It was invented because they were not able to chop people's heads off fast enough for all the executions they were doing. The axes would get dull, so they kept having to rotate out, and also it was hard for the people to swing that often. The guillotine was made to make the whole execution process efficient. And that's horrifying, that the engineer wasn't just making something that was like nice. It's like, oh, well, this is a new way to kill people. It literally was a demand that needed to be met, so someone invented it. It's freaking terrifying. And once the banquet had drawn to a close, tables speckled with half-empty wine glasses and leftover candied fruits were moved off to the side to make room for, of course, the festivities. Good evening, Lady Nellie. You're looking particularly lovely today. Nellie, I had these jewels cut just for you. You'll let me have this dance, won't you? What's the matter, Nellie? You look exhausted. These are pretty good. Want one? I know you like sweets. They're apple candied and rock sugar, I think. You disappoint me, dearest Mel. Huh? What do you think is the matter? They just keep coming. It never ends. Crazy. It's driving me up the wall. Everyone's just repeating the same lines they've been taught. They all think pretty jewels or requests to dance are enough to make a girl swoon. But I think that is true for you, Nellie. Though, why is she disappointed with me? I think I'm done with birthday parties after this year. They'll probably throw an even bigger one next year. Huh? Why? Well, you're about that age, Nellie. We are a reasonably distinguished family, so there are a number of different houses that would like to have connections with us. So, yeah, she's not happy about that. So, what you're saying is do it for the family? No, that's not... I won't date or marry anyone. I have no interest in being used as a pawn for their interfamily politics. Pawn? I wouldn't go that far. And I'm sure Father wants to let you choose yourself. Someone you actually love. Love? I never thought I would hear you talk about love, dearest Mel. You don't even understand what makes Shakespeare's plays so beautiful. You're talking about love. You fell asleep during Romeo and Juliet, and you're talking about love. We went all the way out to the Gold Theater, too. Wow, I went to the real one, dang. Well, pardon me for being ignorant when it comes to romance and the arts. But you're not, Nellie. Shakespeare's make-believe story made you cry like a baby. Anyone would cry like that. You'd have to be crazy to sleep through it. At the time, probably. I mean, come on, it was like the best kind of entertainment you could possibly get back then. That's not what I'm saying. Someone as emotionally vibrant as you, Nellie, would have no problem finding love. Dearest Mel, we should dance. Lady Nellie, could I have this? Let's dance, dearest Mel. What? Me? Wait, Come on, I really like this song. Quit palling on me, Nellie. What's the point of dancing? We're siblings. Mother and father are staring daggers at us. No matter. What day is it today, Beer's Mel? Your birthday. Exactly. So I can do what I want. Now attend your princess, as a proper prince should. Oh jeez, how to get myself into this? Nellie's skirt fluttered along with her as she stepped in time to the music. She was not only a skilled singer, but a skilled dancer as well. Mel, on the other hand, fumbled over his own feet trying to keep up. Me. One would be hard-pressed to describe his dance abilities as good, even as flattery. Though boys of his pedigree were taught to dance as part of their etiquette lessons, he found himself more being dragged around by his sister. He could hardly be said to be attending to her. This is humiliating. Because his parents had been hands-off raising him, largely giving him free rein to study and learn what he pleased, Mel looked like a tangled-up marionette. From throughout the hall, he could hear giggles, uncomfortable chuckling, and people coughing to disguise their laughter. Come now, dearest Mel. If this is the best you can manage, what are you going to do when a girl catches your eye? I won't, so it doesn't matter. Follow my lead, Mel. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I love dancing, actually. It's one of my secret hobbies. I don't get to do it very often now that I'm like married. You know, it kind of was a way for me to meet people, but like at the same time, it's like I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite pastimes in college. Nellie alone enjoyed her time dancing with her brother, and quite thoroughly at that. It did not matter that he moved awkwardly or that the guests were giving them cold stares. It was their parents who first cracked under the pressure. Just their father was about to give an exaggerated cough and stop the music. A ruckus suddenly swelled up near the entrance. That doesn't seem... that bodes ill. What could that be? Who knows? Whatever's going on, I've been spared. The music came to a stop and the party guests began bustling. The siblings' father spoke up sternly about the noise in order to quell the spreading commotion. He ordered the servants to investigate and had the music restarted, gave a short apology for the interruption, and set the party back on course. Hope they're not in terrible debt, that could be bad. I went to go check on the entrance with the other servants, as I recall. Oh my, why are you looking at me like that? These are not my memories, but those which dwell within the mansion. Do you think we should be following what happens next from my perspective, then? That is not what confused you? Well, your question should be answered in time. In time. Now, let us return to our tale. Though the party had fallen still for a moment, their father's decisive actions restored the guests' festive moves in short order. So it was not by any means the commotion that caused the ball to conclude earlier than planned. Oh dear, I hear thunder. It was rather loud, too. Sounds like we're having quite the storm brewing. They lived in a country where the weather was nothing if not predictable. Isn't that everywhere? Rain was a frequent occurrence there. The stretches of time with clear skies grew longer as the summer approached, but the weather was still somewhat unstable on the cusp of the two seasons. They had a strong wind that night as well, which turned the raindrops into little spears on the window. Were the party to continue on any longer, no one would be able to go home. Although their father was quite concerned that Nellie had not gone on with any of the aristocratic boys, he decided to cut the festivities short. So who was knocking at the door? Thank goodness it ended early. How lucky I am. It must be a blessing for all this for being such a good girl. I'm not sure having your own birthday party cut short counts as lucky. But it was no fun. I can't help if I'm not enjoying myself. And for heaven's sake, Arthur was here. I have no interest in dancing with that dunce. Arthur? Who's that again? Someone who was here? Unbelievable. You don't remember anything, do you, dearest Mel? He came over to play a few times when we were little. He's covered in gross freckles, and he's a huge... he's covered in gross freckles, and he's a huge jerk. Freckles are gross. He said my hair looked like the color of fallen leaves. Fallen leaves! Just thinking about that ugly smirk has me fuming. And yet he acts like nothing happened. He even calls me Lady Nellie, for goodness sake. Are you listening, dearest Mel? I'm listening, I'm listening. I wonder what the ruckus was earlier. Ugh, you were listening, were you? Who cares about that? Sorry, but aren't you curious? There probably wasn't another guest, at least. Maybe a cat sneaked in and knocked on the door? You think so? I do. But enough about that. Would you like to play cards in my room, dear Smell? Sounds like a trap. Seriously, I'm exhausted, though. It's not even that late. Fine. Something feels kind of off. A cat. I want to go check. Come on, hurry up. Hold on. You don't need to drag me, Nelly. My birthday isn't over yet. You're not done attending to me. Oh, Nelly. It's flickering. Why is it flickering? I sense murder afoot. So that's just we're rolling into the next scene music. Lovely. Why? He looks like he's torn. The rain just won't let up. I can't sleep. I wonder what the commotion earlier was about. Oh, for goodness sake. It's all the storm's fault. That's why I can't sleep. I'm just fretting over nothing. I'm sure Nellie was right. It was just a cat. Maybe a dog. I can't sleep! I hardly ever have this much trouble falling asleep. What could this feeling be, I wonder? It's not quite foreboding. Walking around the house at this time of night isn't going to help anything. But I'm not going to fall asleep just lying here. It's going to go on an adventure. Oh, that's creepy. The only sound that could be heard in this dark corridors were the sharp pitter-patter of the rain, his footsteps, and his breathing. Though he was intimately familiar with the layout of the house, that night the hallways felt like an endless labyrinth, veiled in shadows. Oh, that music's terrifying. No moonlight shone through the windows, so he naturally found himself moving cautiously, despite being his own resident. Keeping the palm of his hand pressed up against the chilly wall, he put one foot in front of the other. To where was he supposed to head? Mel, of course, had no way of answering that question himself. If he had anything, it was guidance from above, the path to his destination lit by the flashing of lightning. Or perhaps there was something else leading him along. Though he progressed with a fair bit of hesitation in his step, Mel was slowly but surely drawing nearer to one room in particular. He made his way through the seemingly endless halls. Past the living room, its fireplace long since cooled. Into another corridor. And stopped outside of Abigail's bedchamber. Who's Abigail? And Abigail's? The dim glow of a lamp spilled through the cracks in the door. A gust of wind not necessarily made to flicker. A gust of wind is not necessary to make a flame flicker. A person's movements or vibrations of the air from someone speaking, the slightest of motions can cause the light of the fire to quiver, shifting subtly as though nudged by an invisible fingertip. I can see a light from the inside. Is she still awake? Voice. He seemed to be hesitating. It would not be difficult for him to approach the door and peer inside. But he had reservations about peeping in on another's chambers, even if it was his own house. Moreover, this room was assigned to a woman. There was a woman behind that door. What would you do, Master, in this situation? I'd probably be overcome with the nerves too. I'd take a quick peek in. I would absolutely take a peek in if I thought I could be stealthy about it. Because I'd be really curious. Would you succumb to your curiosity and gaze inside? Or would you respect the owner's privacy? I shouldn't be doing this. But the voice, it feels like it's calling to me or someone else. Yes, me. I could sense someone watching me that moment. He had succumbed to his curiosity. He stood on the other side of the door from me, his flaxen eyes open wide, trying to remain as invisible as possible. Oh, so she was in that room. Interesting. So is she Abigail? The wavering in his heart seemed to create faint ripples in the air, which I pretended not to notice. Yes, I knew he was there. I could sense his presence and his wavering emotions. However, I could not begin to speculate as to his true feelings, or how great a surprise this was to him. I, too, am discovering new facts about this tale by viewing it through the eyes of the mansion. But it is not I who is of concern, Master. It is you. You and... I know I shouldn't be doing this. I should be ashamed of myself. But I can't look away. What is he seeing? Who is that? Her skin is so pale you can practically see through it. Is that white because she was out in the cold rain? Her hair was white as snow, and her eyes, they're like, how do you describe it? My vocabulary truly lacks for situations like this. They look like blood. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, I think I see where this is going. Oh, I can right click, okay. No, that's just disturbing. Then wine, perhaps. No, more translucent than that. Gemstones, then? Yes, gemstones. Her eyes are like rubies. I've never seen anyone like her before. She reminds me immediately in the Fate series of the homunculi. But I'm thinking this is more of that kind of thing. What could they be talking about? Mel's eyes were affixed on the peculiar young woman. She had glass-like skin, eyes that glimmered in the flickering candlelight, and snow-white hair that flowed like luxurious silk. But her lips were blushed purple, her soft, delicate skin sullied with grime, her twinkling eyes pointed down at the floor, and her hair was a disheveled mess. She was, even at a glance, clearly not a lady of means. The tips of her fingers were cracked from the cold, her nails pale from malnutrition, and her garb little more than rags. However, true beauty isn't always visible, no matter what they may be hidden beneath. Even wrapped in the veil of insalubrity, I'm not sure of that word. Even if she thought herself hideous. I wonder what happened to her. Mel could no longer avert his gaze from the girl's visage. He had, for the time being, forgotten the shame he felt for peeping. As he strained his ears to hear the conversation taking place inside, a sickly voice arose from the white-haired girl's purple lips. So feeble was the sound that of a gentle breeze blowing through the room could carry it away. I apologize for the trouble. Think nothing of it. Give your apologies and thanks to the mistress. Understood. There is something strangely comforting about this house, almost as if I've been here before. If my father were here, I'm sure he would be quite fond of it. I'm sorry about your father. There's nothing you could have done, I imagine. When you came to our rescue, he was already... Rescue? Father? Was that perchance what the commotion was about? He stared intently, entranced by the scene unfolding beyond the door. A gaze can often signal one's presence to others more effectively than words. The white-haired girl could likely sense him there too. She flicked her gem-like eyes upward. Whoa. Dang. She really is beautiful. That was when the boy finally felt a pang of panic. For a split second, his fixed eyes met her ruby eyes, causing him to recoil from the door. His heart was pounding like the rain outside. Careful not to make a sound, he took 1-2 steps away. Did she catch me? I'm not sure. She got you. It was only for a moment. She can't have seen me. The boy did not have the courage to peek into the room a second time, so he cautiously returned to his bedchamber, and quietly as he could manage. Ooh. But even beneath his covers, he could not erase that girl's eyes from his memory. Her melancholy red irises, her voice, delicate as a glass sculpture, her pale, almost lifeless skin, her pure, white hair. Every singular detail kept him from banishing her image from his mind, nor could he restrain his heavily pounding heart. Who could she be? Oh, okay. So yeah, so this is the maid we're talking to, and then the white-haired girl. So they are different people. Interesting. I think we're gonna actually have to end it here. We've got some very intriguing stuff to talk about for this. Like, dang, she is interesting. I'm super curious to learn more about her, and more importantly, like what she is. And what about the maids? Like, is she just been a part of the house throughout all time? Like, was she here before this, or is this like the beginning of the story of the immortals? That's what I'm really kind of wondering, because I'm guessing it's gonna have to do with some kind of immortality. Ooh. Okay, color me super intrigued. It's already painting a very interesting picture. I do apologize once again for my voice acting. I'm sure it's terrible, but hey, I'm excited to jump into this storyline, so I'd love to hear your comments below. If I'm going to make some predictions right off the bat, I think we might be Mel. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be we're learning Mel's story, and that could be us. It'd be a roundabout way, maybe, and maybe it would be unoriginal, and maybe Mel is more like going to encounter us. But like, if she is a vampire-like character, then she might turn him. That's what I'm kind of thinking this is going to go. But I have no earthly idea. Otherwise, yeah, so I think she's a vampire. She has that feel to her already. And then I think the maid also might be a vampire, although she has the green eyes. I don't know, because the red eyes might be what I'm kind of taking as a major hint of vampirism. So the green eyes might mean she's something different entirely. But she's here in the 1600s, and she's definitely in the future, so there's something immortal about her too. We'll just have to find out. But I don't know. It's way too early to know anything about what's really going on, so we'll have to figure out what happens from here. So thank you so much for being here today. If this was your first time, again, I'm very happy you decided to stick around for the end of the video, and hopefully I can continue to interest you in this and other series I've covered. I just finished the Muv-Luv, from Extra to Alternative. You can check that out in Steins Gate. I'm working through Steins Gate 0 at the moment. You'll probably see that come up very shortly if you stick around. But if not, I understand. Thank you so much for being around and just spending this time with me. And to those of you who are sticking around and are interested to learn more, look forward to this coming every Monday for the foreseeable future. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. Just having you here is honestly the best thing that can happen for my day. It's wonderful, and I can't wait to read your comments and to hear your thoughts about the story. But until the next video you watch with me, what happens to see me in next, I'll see you there.